reports the White House will be keeping a close eye on the Fed's decision coming up in the next few hours.
In a statement yesterday, President Biden said that there was still work to be done on bringing inflation down. So we want to bring in now CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, tell us how the White House is feeling about the direction of the economy. Are they celebrating? Are they still holding their breath?
I think they're feeling pretty good, Lana. Good day to you and Errol. I mean, first of all, inflation is now less than half of what it was at its peak. It is still high, and they will acknowledge that. They would like it to go lower, but it has come down significantly and without the side effects that so many economists were predicting as a result of all those rate hikes that you just discussed. We haven't seen the economy go into a recession. We haven't seen widespread layoffs. In fact, to the contrary, we got a very strong jobs report again just last week. So the economy appears to be humming along, and while they realize that there are probably a couple more small rate hikes in store to try to bring down inflation even lower, they certainly feel like things are in much better shape now than they were a year ago when we were coming out of the pandemic.
And Nancy, let me ask you a question. On the foreign policy front, we're learning Secretary of State Antony Blinken will visit China this week. What is the Biden administration saying publicly it hopes to get out of this trip? And then what might be really behind what's happening?
Well, they're trying to lower expectations. They say they don't expect any major breakthrough from this meeting, which, as you might recall, was originally scheduled for February, but then President Biden himself called it off at the last minute after that Chinese spy balloon traversed airspace over the United States and was eventually shot down by the U.S. The administration decided that was not the time for the Secretary of State to visit China for the first time in years, and now that meeting has been rescheduled. And so U.S. officials say, look, they're just trying to normalize relations here. They think it's important to speak face-to-face about a variety of issues, including Taiwan, human rights, superconductors, AI, military communications. You know, something we haven't talked a lot about is the fact that ever since that Chinese spy balloon incident, there haven't been the kind of normal military communications between the Chinese and the Americans that we would typically see. The Chinese have refused to hold those high-level conversations, even remotely. And so the U.S. government believes it's very important to reestablish that kind of communication, to ward off the potential of any miscommunication. And so those are the kinds of things that they're going to be discussing when Secretary Blinken goes to China next week.
Nancy, the other big political story, obviously former President Trump pleading not guilty to federal charges yesterday. Have we heard anything, any reaction from the White House?
You know, probably the biggest reaction came from President Biden himself. He didn't address it head on, but he was speaking to a group of diplomats from all over the world here at the White House last night, and he was talking about his face-to-face meetings that he had had in the past with President Xi of China. And he made this joke about how I turned over all my notes afterwards to officials, which was essentially a dig at former President Trump, who famously did not hand over his notes of his conversations with Putin in Helsinki while he was president. President Biden claimed that that was not a reference to Trump at all, but clearly was. It got a big laugh in the room. It even got applause from those diplomats, so everyone seemed to know what he was saying. But as for an official White House reaction to the indictment, to the way that former President Trump has reacted to the indictment, right now they are saying no comment. They like to stay out of it for the most part.
Yeah, the focus really today on the economy. All right, Nancy, thank you so much.
You're welcome.